Before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more bold commentary and sharp analysis. Support the channel by joining as a member, hitting the super thanks button, or just letting the ads run for at least 30 seconds. It helps a lot. The audacity of the EFF in South Africa to demand the dismantling of Orania, a small but growing Afrikaner enclave, is not just infuriating, it's a textbook case of political opportunism cloaked in moral posturing. This isn't some empty ideological flare-up. It's a coordinated assault on constitutional rights, targeting a legally recognized community simply because it defies the EFF's preferred narrative. Orania, founded in 1991 on the remnants of a defunct government irrigation project, sits along the Orange River in the arid Northern Cape. From a dilapidated shell, Afrikaners, under the leadership of Karel Boshoff, grandson of apartheid architect Hendrik Verwoerd, transformed the area into a functioning town rooted in cultural preservation. With a population that's ballooned from just 13% in its founding year to nearly 2,900 in 2023, Orania stands as a case study in voluntary ethno-cultural self-determination. Whether you agree with its principles or not, the fact remains the town operates fully within the framework of South Africa's Constitution. Specifically Section 235, which grants the right of self-determination to cultural and linguistic communities. So what's the real issue here? Why is the EFF hell-bent on erasing Orania from the map? Simple. Orania is a mirror the EFF can't stand to look into. While the EFF blames colonialism and apartheid for every policy failure and failed promise, Orania exists as proof that community-driven initiative, economic discipline, and cultural cohesion can produce results, even in the harsh Karoo climate. The town's economy, anchored in agriculture and buoyed by 244 active businesses as of 2019, posts annual growth of 11%. It even has its own local currency, the Ora and e-Ora, that fuels internal commerce. Add to that a 2% unemployment rate as of 2016, zero reliance on black labor, and a crime rate so low, it operates without a local police force or prison. What you get is a model that challenges the victimhood-based politics of the EFF. The EFF knows this, and it terrifies them. On 22nd April 2025, the Northern Cape branch of the EFF, led by its chairperson, Shadrack Talhal, marched on Premier Zamani Saul's office in Kimberley to demand a legal review of Orania. The language was blunt. Orania, they claimed, is a country within a country that defies national unity and upholds apartheid's spirit. Talhale didn't mince words. He called for its outright abolition. Julius Malema, ever the firebrand, has pledged to forcibly integrate Orania by constructing state housing developments within its borders, threatening to deracialize the town whether its residents agree or not. Let's be clear. This isn't a push for equality. It's political bullying disguised as anti-racism. The inconsistency is glaring. The same constitution the EFF weaponizes against Orania also permits its existence. Critics point to the town's nearly 100% white, Afrikaans-speaking population as proof of exclusion, but Orania's admissions criteria, fluency in Afrikaans, a clean criminal record, and commitment to shared cultural values apply to everyone, regardless of race. Residents argue they are building a culturally safe space in a nation plagued by crime, corruption, and social decay, not an enclave of racial supremacy. In fact, Orania has initiated diplomatic outreach to neighboring Xhosa and Tswana leaders and even hosted visits by black South Africans like Petrus Phakamile Sito, who traveled from East London to express solidarity. How many racist enclaves would allow that? Meanwhile, critics ignore a key point. If black South Africans wish to form their own culturally autonomous towns, nothing in the constitution stops them. They could create a Xhosa-focused town, a Zulu development, or any number of culturally unified communities. But building something from the ground up takes effort, vision, discipline, and patience. 4 things in short supply in the EFF's populist playbook. It's easier to attack what others have built than to build something of your own. Let's not sugarcoat it. Orania is controversial. Its rejection of national holidays, its Calvinist ethos, and the visible presence of apartheid-era monuments fuel outrage. Critics like journalist Benjamin Pogrund call its museums shrines to a terrible past. Media portrayals, such as Adi Adepitan's 2024 documentary Whites Only, Ade's extremist adventure, slam Orania as a bastion of racial separatism. But despite this, Orania continues to grow at 12% per year, dwarfing the national population growth of 1.3%. Urban planners even envision a city of 10,000 residents, possibly more. To its detractors, this isn't just growth, it's provocation. What's particularly maddening is the selective outrage. No one blinks when crime-ridden townships spiral into dysfunction, when schools fail, or when the government fails to deliver basic services. But when a group of people tries to build something functional on their own land, without state aid, they're accused of being a threat to democracy. That's not equality, that's ideological gatekeeping. The first murder-suicide in Orania's history, which occurred in 2025, sparked fresh condemnation from critics eager to paint the town as inherently unstable. But serious crimes remain rare. Most infractions are dealt with internally, and serious offences are handed over to South African authorities. That's more than can be said for parts of the country where law enforcement is non-existent and justice is a distant dream. Let's be honest, this fight isn't about Orania. It's about control. If the EFF can override constitutional protections for one community simply because it offends their politics, what stops them from targeting others? What about religious minorities, language groups, or cultural associations? If thriving outside the state's ideological mold becomes a punishable offense, then we're no longer talking about democracy. We're talking about soft tyranny. Orania's very existence poses an uncomfortable question for South Africa. Can we truly tolerate diversity, or only the kind that fits neatly into post-apartheid dogma? You don't have to agree with Orania's worldview to defend its right to exist. That's the essence of pluralism. And make no mistake, if Orania falls, every other community that values self-determination becomes vulnerable to political eradication. So yes, Orania sal staan, because it must. Thanks for watching. If you value honest commentary that challenges the status quo, make sure you're subscribed. Like the video, drop your take in the comments, and consider supporting through membership or super thanks. And if you're watching with ads, let one run fully, or at least for 30 seconds, because it helps keep this platform going. See you in the next one.